It's all good. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. Okay. So, Vagrant campaign, mini/campaign in space. Uh, that's all I have prepared. I think we're done.
Great
Uh,
talking.
so I have a little bit of an agenda. Um, so as I've told you, you guys are going to be starting, coming into like some kind of spaceport, maybe a jump gate, that sort of thing. The exact details will be given to you, and you will each have like you've been on the same ship together for a few months. Like some of you longer, some of you less time, maybe, but a few months is kind of how we're going to do it. So you all know each other. You have all met before. You know you work together a bit, so you're not like going into this completely fresh. And so you'll each be given 500 units, which is basically the same as gold. So 500 units which is like your cut of the last 3 months' jobs. And so basically with that, you'll be let loose in the spaceport, and you guys can go and buy stuff or go to bars or like a whorehouse or whatever it is. But I'll kind of give you guys like in a message to come. I'll like kind of drop you a list of the different places you can go in here, because I think that's a pretty good way of sort of showing each of your characters, rather than just being like, I'm playing Orson and he's a dick. Like, you can kind of show that with what they would spend their money on.
Cheers.
No worries,
Okay.
mate. So
Dicks, that's what he spent his money on.
There's a giant bag of them.
yeah, well, there are whorehouses.
Can't buy Rob.
This is space. You can buy anything. He'll be the protocol droid, just an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure in space there's like legitimately a space bag of dicks that you can get, and it's all like, just a bag
Okay.
of dildos.
I'll say this.
Just floppy
So
robs.
you've all
That's
seen
what they're called.
you've all seen the map. If you don't have it up, I will. I can explain a little bit, but
There's
just
a map.
yes, the beautiful fucking map that I have been lauded over on Twitter for the creation of. People love it.
I need to get it framed.
It's mostly all of my alt accounts liking it, but
Me.
yeah,
I'm so good.
that like Obama putting the medal on himself meme. So yeah, basically it's the known universe is huge, but this is the area that the world is going to be. I'll actually put the map up on my overlay as well, just so we can see it, I suppose. But the map itself is going to be kind of. Oh, I'll shrink that down. It's kind of complicated looking, because there's so many like lines and all that sort of thing. So to kind of explain how the map itself works, you have basically each of the different like areas, right? So you've got the frontier, you've got the High Tribunal of Law, you've got the New Union, the Green Bank, the Syrian colonies, and Astron. There's also like Geminus over there. And so what this is basically, imagine it kind of like a point crawl adventure, if you've ever played one of those, where you guys have pathways between those, namely that kind of the bright network, right? The that white line that goes through everything. You can jump between those gates to different places, and they take different amounts of time. But like the longest one, which is the New Union to the High Tribunal, that's going to be like a day. So most of them you can get between them in like a day. but there is like large queues, and each of those gates that the triangles are at, they are like gigantic city-sized shopping centers, basically. So there's like all manner of things to do. And then this dark network is a place only known to like the criminals, and it is much more dangerous to travel, and is a bit kind of hackneyed and not great. And like similarly, so in the Green Bank, say, you can see all the connections between the planets, and I'll kind of give you the names for them, like as and when they're required in game. But if you want to get to, like, say you want to get in the Green Bank from the bottom massive planet to that small one at the top, you would like jump between the planets, sort of thing. And so there's kind of a specific way around each one. And likewise, like if you're in Estron, you could fly from Zuva Station to Altair just as the crow flies, but that is going to take you like months. But if you use the Inter-Asset Highway and swing round, then you can do it in like a day. So everything is quite it's quite kind of forced in how you get to places, but where you go and how you get there, or where you go and what you do when you're there, is like completely sandbox. But you'll have to follow this map if you want to travel somewhere. So the pilot or navigator is going to have to be familiar with what's going on here in order to be able to like make their way around efficiently. And obviously I can help with that when it actually comes
like,
to the game.
The highway thing, is that like the little elliptical circles or whatever?
Yeah, so like one of them, the biggest one is the Inter-Asset Highway. It's labeled, and so you can kind of get around there.
Can't really see on this.
Oh yeah, it'll be super small on my overlay. I recommend you look at the Vagrant's guide, the PDF. There's the most recent link to it is up in the chat.
Or you can grab the physical copy that you sent us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the other room. Okay.
Or that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
What's
So,
the black
and
one
on the-
called?
Oh,
Because-
sorry, Dan.
What's the black one called? Because it's
Uh,
pretty hard to
yeah,
read
yeah,
even
yeah,
on the
the
PDF.
dark. That's just called the Dark Network.
The Dark Network. Is that something that is widely known? Or
No,
that...
so you would only know about it if you were in the know. It's a very closely guarded secret. It's
like a smuggler's route?
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, exactly.
Criminal.
So you
Cool.
will not know about it at the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you run into people who can show you where to find it. And like there's rumors about it. Like you might hear people being like, "Oh man, I found the entrance to the Dark Network," and someone's like, "Ah, you're full of shit," sort of thing. But
Sure.
it's kind of a legend a little bit.
Okay, so like, what's the like? We have like gates, and we can only go through the gates where at the triangles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so what? The highway is faster. How is it? What is it like? Like a
So, yeah.
slipstream type thing, like current that you just kind of get into, and it makes you go faster, or
I am more picturing like at intervals there are like these big kind of floating, not rings, but machines that kind of give you boost, like Mario Kart rainbow tiles.
okay.
That sort of
Nice.
like they kind of like, if you imagine
It's like a hyperspace network or
Yeah,
something. Like you just
in-
keep
Okay.
hitting the rings and go round, or you can go through,
Yeah.
interstellar
So,
engines
if
and
you're-
just
yeah.
twinkle off into space.
So
Gotcha.
here's an
Okay.
important point is, so you see Zuva Station is pretty close to those two gates. It will be faster to go from Zuva Station to Altair via the highway because there's no queues and stuff, whereas each of those is going to take like half a day in the actual, like, going through the gate, plus you'll have hours and hours of queues. Whereas you can just get on the highway at any point and zip round. But if you wanted to fly to the Green Bank, say, from Altair, you couldn't just go up to Altair and then fly to the Green Bank, because that would take fucking ages. But if you went from like one of the gates to Altair or to the Green Bank,
Greenbank. Yeah.
then that would be much faster.
Okay.
That's
I
like
hope
the
that's
super
not too
shipping
complicated.
highway.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, no. What's
white route.
what's the other little ellipsis? Is that another highway?
Yeah, that's just another
not
highway.
named.
It's
not named?
not. It's not. It's probably called the Estron Highway.
Okay.
But yeah, that's another highway. But that one only goes between Spiritus and Shoal. So if you want to get to those places, that's the one you use. But where it
Guessing
crosses,
where all the link. Yeah. Sorry,
where
you
it
go on.
crosses the Inter-Iset Highway, you can like switch.
So on like the gated highway, can you slip into the the pathway midway, or do you have to start
No.
at a triangle, end at a triangle?
Yeah. So like
Okay.
those ones are like being shot out of a gun, and you just keep
Okay.
going until like if it's
It's a
yeah
boost.
the highway is like a highway we would imagine, like it's got entrances and exits, and you can actually come on at any point, like it will open to allow you and enter it. But the bright network will like that kind of almost teleports you, imagine, so you like there's no stopping.
It's a Mass Effect gate.
Yeah,
So
it's a
you
Mass
gotta
Effect.
get you gotta get chat through the Mass Effect gate to get to the. Gotcha.
What's the best way to get to Geminus, then?
Yeah, so that one, I'm to be honest, I don't really know what it is, per se. Like, I just kind of put it on the map because I felt like I needed something there, and I had a cool idea for a shape. So I don't know what it is, and I'm not like this map as well isn't really proportional. It's a 2D map in 3D. I will give you a concrete answer on that at some point, but I imagine it's gonna be like you fly from Avenir to Geminus, and it takes a fucking age, and that's the only way to get there.
Being Daredevil pilot, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Is it dangerous but possible to break out of the bright network, like highway, through some high level piloting skill thing that you can pop out of the side, but like it's widely discouraged
So
because it would tear ships apart or something.
I will say for now, absolutely not. Like it will just like turn your ship into dust. But like there might be some kind of prototype technology that lets you do it if that's something you want to explore as like a higher level character.
Okay.
But
just something, because sci-fi things always have wormholes in hyperspace and whatnot, and people are smart to abuse them at some level.
Yeah, we just get a bigger ship to put our regular ship in, like close to doll style, and then we let that one get torn apart, and when it tears away, and then we're good.
Yeah. But I imagine there's some kind of force field that some wacky scientist is working on.
Sure. Does he sound like Cuthbert?
No. I'm Space Cuthbert. It's just this world is actually, or this like setting is actually just Tronum, but like a billion years in the future.
In an abstract,
and Cuthbert is immortal.
I found the right bugs.
Yes.
So, like I see most of the collections, like the High Tribunal and the Syrian colonies and the Green Bank, you've named like a planet out of that collection.
Yeah.
Are the other ones populous and interesting to go to, or is that
yes?
like,
No, they are. It was just that like
like the
I imagine
capitals
that's
of
kind of
those
that's kind of the capital.
Cool.
So if you want, I know you'll have the thing, but it might help if I just say it because I know reading is different to hearing. If I just kind of give you like a quick, like 1 or 2 lines on what each of the main areas are, and then we can decide like where we want to start the game, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Sure.
So firstly, we got the Syrian colonies. Basically overflow from Estron. So Estron is like the big main one, and the Syrian colonies were started as like a suburb to it, but now they're kind of their own unique civilization, and they are like very technologically advanced, and it's kind of considered like sort of only the wealthiest people now live there. Like it's quite a high marketplace.
the suburb colonies.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Rob, can you repeat all that because you were roboting real bad for me?
Oh, was I? Did
Mhm.
everyone? Was I roboting
No,
for everyone?
you weren't for me. So.
Okay, no worries. So Syrian colonies are overflow from Estron. They were started as like a suburb to Estron, and basically have surpassed Estron in technological advancement. But it's like low population, high wealth, very technologically advanced. Like very very rich people live there. Then Estron itself is like the massive one, and like it's millions of stars are inside it. Also, yeah, it should be noted those planets are, they look like planets, but I'm sort of considering them like star systems. But
Right.
if that helps.
There would not be a lot of planets in the known universe, to be fair.
Yeah.
So each of those are their own little multi-planet star
Yeah.
kind of systems, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot more shit to go to.
Yeah. It's big. Like.
Okay.
It is the universe, though, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this could be a small corner. It could have just been,
Yeah.
you know, like little system or galaxy or something. But who knows?
Yeah. No, I wanted this to be very very big because I could see us doing lots of different campaigns in here, and this way it's basically infinite. But yeah, so Estron's massive. It's like it's pretty much the most kind of middle ground. Like there's corruption, but it's also, just a normal. It's kind of like our world, right? Like there's loads of corruption and people are dicks, but there's also good people and normal people and average people.
So Estron is this center thing? Is that the planet, the system, or is Spirius the system?
No. So Estron has millions of stars on it. In it. Like.
And is that just that general center area?
Yeah. It's imagine like if space was like a sieve map, right? You've got like loads of different tiles, but it's colored in.
Right. So Estron's basically everything on the inside of that highway.
Yeah. So the boundaries of Estron are the inter-asset highway.
And what makes Spirius special? Is that the capital of like the Estron system?
Yeah, Spiritus is the capital.
And Shoal
but
somewhere else.
They're just other systems that are like big and important.
It makes sense that one would be big and important because it's right next to the gates.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like the map is sort of it's kind of abstract because I was really struggling with how to show my like mind view of the place. So it's kind of like imagine each thing is like a sample, if you will, of what you can find. So yeah, it's got a Congress re-elected every 50 years, but like most of the people who vote are generally the people in the center systems because news doesn't travel very fast over millions and millions of stars. Then we've got the HTL, the High Tribunal of Law. It's like a very powerful, fanatical, zealous faction who rules over their star systems. Very religious. They worship these three gods. And like the people are pretty well looked after, but like you are killed if you're a heretic, sort of thing. Then you got the Frontier, which is basically wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Skull and villainy.
Yeah. Like pirates, smugglers, whorehouses, shady, vile characters, always money to be made. And then the New Union is the oldest of the regions, and was basically when the first people came to this region of space, they they settled and called this place the New Union, and then loads of stuff was built up around it.
It's the oldest, but it's called the New Union.
Yeah. So basically, they are like they're kind of like the China, like made in China. Everything is made in the Union. They just manufacture stuff. They're very efficient. They do a lot of farming. It's
what in your mind, is the little boxy things of the triple connections in the new Union, or is it just fancy shape work?
So that's just they're basically space stations. Like the rectangles are space stations.
Okay.
And those ones, so like I imagine basically for the new Union, those like the area with those three kind of planet symbols in it is where all the production is done, and then it gets shipped to the first space station, sorted, shipped to the next one, and then they actually like sell it from Sparris.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of just, but yeah, mostly it was to look different.
Okay, so if rectangles are space stations, that means the High Tribunal of Lore is like they have one planet and then two major space stations. That little dark circle, is that like an orbit that one follows, or?
Yeah. So the small circle in the big circle
Mhm.
is yeah where that orbits. But the High Tribunal is kind of, they're a bit weird, and so the area they overlap with Astron is like highly contested, and there's lots of wars going on, and but like they all, I kind of imagine they like don't really live on planets very much and are more like kind of like belters in the Expanse, like they just live kind of on space stations and stuff. And that the Trivium planet is like the site of a lot of battle between the two.
Is that B waypoint like hotly contested and controlled by them kind of thing? Like, inbound of goods, or do you have pretty free travel along the Bright Network regardless of political location?
Generally free travel. Like the Bright Network is like operated by a company that basically pays all of the
Oh my god,
governments.
they must be rich. If
Yeah.
that is one independent venture,
Yeah,
fuck me.
and they basically pay all of the company, or the like all of the factions like a price to have a gate there.
Wow.
But
Okay.
like it's kind of the thing where if you go to like gate B, then you're like, okay, we've got to be careful because we're in tribunal
Sure.
territory and these fuckers are crazy, sort of thing.
Well, yeah.
That's
To be
interesting.
fair, though, like they would probably go bankrupt pretty fucking quickly if they didn't
Yeah.
have that waypoint.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
if they moved B out of there and it went straight from C to A or A to C or whatever, and they cut out B, the fucking High Tribunal would be completely cut off
Yeah, they'd
from
be
the
boned.
rest of
Yeah.
the universe.
It's like some sort of space Venice, basically. It's a big conglomeration
Yeah.
thing that because Venice basically controlled the Mediterranean. If you fuck with Venice, then you've got no trade and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So there isn't probably an uneasy truce there. Okay. Are you ready to boot up that sci-fi planet name generator, because we're going to be visiting a lot of places?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. So yeah, that's the new union we've done, and then the last one is the Green Bank. Very, very few people live here, but shit grows like crazy. Like it's all like plants and animals. It's like this, paradise. And so scientists fucking love it, and they're all going up there to research, but actually not a lot gets done. Like, not a lot of people live there, comparatively. And not a lot of stuff happens there, other than, like...
Okay, so they're not shipping food out, or...
No,
it's more like rainforest.
Yeah. It's like, it's not farmland.
Right.
And, like, most
Yeah, that
food
doesn't sound-
nowadays, anyway, is, like, synthesized.
Sure. But...
An important distinction whenever you say plants.
Yeah, you said shit grows, and, like, I want to know if it was agriculture, or if it's...
Yeah.
Biodiversity.
Like, no, it's
biodiversity.
it's like you go and it's just rainforest everywhere. It's like Jurassic Park.
But things like discoveries like new medicines or
Yeah, so
drugs.
that's exactly why they're
plant
there.
crops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're also there to figure out like what conditions does this place have that other places don't, that makes everything grow like fucking wildfire.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, are their stars different or
Yeah, exactly.
something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's
But
probably a
that,
lot
that
of
seems
money.
like quite a lucrative. If we get like a half decent reputation, shipping medicines, drugs, scientific equipment, whatever.
So like,
quite
I
a
was
good
about to say
job
that is
there.
like, if the Green Bank, like a scientist up there, figures out like there's new cure for space AIDS,
Cancer.
yeah, whatever.
Or
You
space,
guys,
AIDS.
you guys could be contracted to fly it to the new union, so the new union can start producing it, and then like you could be the go-between, and that would net you guys a fuckload of money.
Also shipping scientists and stuff to and fro.
Yeah. So there's like, it's gonna be very tactical. Like, you guys could get in with the High Tribunal and be like, oh fuck yeah, your religion, and they would like lather you with money and stuff because they need someone to go out and do stuff for them who believes in their religion, and that's probably hard to come by. So like, depending on how you want to make your alliances and where you want to operate and how you want to operate, like if you want to be criminals or if you want to be like good guy shipsmen, like,
or
there's
try and pull both off and not
yeah,
get anyone caught on to
yeah,
the dodgy dealings.
like that's kind of why
That's
I'm that's kind of why I'm excited by like the way I've sort of set this up, where like each place is quite distinct and you can sort of like manipulate your relationships and climb different ladders to get different advances and play how you want to play, but reap the dire consequences of being dicks to people.
Okay.
I do. Why is the Bright Network not a circle? Like, why isn't there a thing that connects A to G or G to A?
Because the Bright Network monopoly that owns it can make more money if people have to fly all the way back to A from G.
It also takes like less than a day to do that, so it's not unreasonable potentially to ask people to do that.
Well, no, flying
Shitty.
all the way from G to A is
It
going
would take days.
Yeah.
No,
it's
but
gonna
you
take a
said
few
through the
days.
Bright Network it took like a day to traverse, wasn't it?
So the
each
longest
jump.
strand of the Bright Network, A to B, is 1 day. So everything else is like part of a day. So you could do it in like.
And you have to pay fees or
like
something
3.5
going
days.
through each one.
Yeah. So you basically buy a ticket. So you're like, I want to go A to G. So flying A to G is going to be cheaper than flying A to B, B to C, C to D, E, D to E.
I mean, it's something that we as players might be able to influence in the world and make that connection if you pulled the right
anything.
people.
You can do anything.
Are you? I would be quite interested.
you
Like,
did-
by all means, keep the original map. But when we go to a place, like, it would be cool to see that place named, like the planets.
Oh, fuck
or, like,
yeah,
if we do
boy.
complete that, that link, maybe that link then appears.
Yeah. I might have like a
Season 1, Season 2 kind of map or something.
yeah, like maps that change
Like
as you guys.
when the Zuva station miraculously explodes or something.
Yeah.
So like,
Miraculously.
so like,
Coincidentally.
There we go.
but
The
no,
law, the High Tribunal think it was a miraculous explosion.
So if you're going for like speed, you wouldn't go from G to A. You would go from you would G to the highway down to B and then go up from B to A. Yeah?
Yeah, that's probably the fastest, but that's gonna like it depends. Because if you like to get to the highway from G is going to be G to F, and then you've got like a day on a shuttle from F to First Century, and then at First Century you can go around. And
Can you go from shuttle from G to Altair? Would that be faster?
No, that'd be like days again.
Because remember, I think it's like abstract, so
Yeah.
the Green Bank is kind of out in deep space a little bit, and that's where G is
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, I gotcha.
So yeah, like
whereas F is in this colonized Estron region.
It's a false closeness. Like
yeah.
It to fly from the Green Bank to Altair, say, is like weeks and weeks of flying.
Gotcha.
But
it's like a shuttle from F to First Century.
Yeah, where you basically power down your ship in a giant ship that flies like very, 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 very fast. And so
But
that
it
be
would
much
still
quicker.
be it would probably still be faster than doing like the jumps.
All the way
It's
around.
just you would because of all the like the line queuing and stuff.
True, but like if you were trying to get to the New Union, like going from say Griddle to Sparris, there's no shuttle there because that's not inside Estron. Like Estron wouldn't make a shuttle to the New Union, so that is going to be just like weeks of flying in deep space.
With its own hazards.
Yes, space pilots.
So
Like, we might-
Space borders.
So
You would
generally,
maybe have to enter the High Tribunal of Law and get on at B and go up. Would be quick,
Mm-hmm.
but then you'd have to navigate them.
yeah,
I mean, maybe again, we as players, possibly with influence of something, we could put in a new B stop somewhere on that
Yeah.
Estron Spirius cycle, and
like
connect
it's,
those up. I don't know.
It's
somehow.
definitely a lot of times it is going to be faster just to use the network, but you can definitely game the system and be like, you know,
But that is also
if-
the most official channel
yeah.
with the most checks and balances, I
Yeah.
would imagine.
It also means that, like, you know, if that's like the fastest and most efficient or whatever, we have to be on very good behavior while in said network, because if you get fucking banned from it,
Yeah.
Sure.
And then also, like, if you're, say, transporting, like, stolen goods, you might want to avoid the Bright Network as much as you can, because there's, like, random spot checks and that sort of thing at the gates.
Which is going to make it real difficult, but yes.
I mean, I'd be rolling, like, a D1000, but...
The trip from the frontier to Shoal, because what is that kind of trip like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So
Because I was maybe thinking of coming from a frontier moon or something.
Yeah, so I kind of imagine the frontier as maybe more of like everywhere that isn't one of these places.
Sure.
So it could be kind of a ring around it, but like there's probably in the frontier there's probably some like horrible semi-illegal space transport that will fly your ships to Shoal in like a few days.
But you could make it in a week.
Yeah, you can probably
something.
make it in a week or two.
If you were thinking the frontier all the way around, does that mean maybe the thing marked checkpoint? Is that possibly like heading to frontier lands? The most southern highway.
Oh, I like that.
point.
Yeah, like maybe that's
Is-
like if you're
An
going
official
out to the
frontier
frontier. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Is-
like that's where
is
they
check-
check. Yeah, like every ship
Sorry.
to make sure there's not illegal shit in it and that sort of.
would be on the criminal highway? Would that be
Yeah, I
Mid-frontier?
imagine that goes like pretty much straight into the frontier.
Yeah.
and that's how they
Okay.
get their stolen goods
Yeah,
past that
so-
checkpoint?
so
That
like
is a
if-
guaranteed.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
to like get them into Estron, you would like ship on at B, and then get to C, and then like join the highway and fly around to where you need to go.
I'm also imagining the giant corporation that runs the Bright Network, though they have space stations around there and they'll have like their own Bright incorporated property or
Yeah.
whatever they're called.
Super.
I imagine they
evil.
don't care for the little guy particularly. So
No.
like in
And
all the
they-
shops and the pubs and the bars and stuff, you could start fights or whatever, or have fights without like being banned from the network because you weren't damaging
Yeah,
their
to be banned from the network, you either
You
have
have
to
to-
like piss someone off who's high up because they would rather bleed your money dry.
Sure.
How many different networks do we know about?
There's a map, Andrew. If you download the PDF that Rob linked, it's like the second page after the main page. That's what we're all looking at.
So really, while you've been gone, we've just been going through the ins and outs of the map and what each of the colonies or the factions are, which is all detailed in the first page of the PDF anyway. So I recommend you just have a read of that whenever you get the chance.
Okie dokie.
But yeah,
I
so-
see what everyone's seeing right now.
yeah.
Yeah, there's the bright network, which is that bright white line, and then the dark network is the
So-
black one, and then
Each of the different. Sorry to cut you off.
You're fine.
Each of the different networks are under our impression, are run by a completely different group.
Okay, so let
no.
me put it in, like, give you the Cliff Notes version. It's basically the Bright Network is like jump gates, is the fastest way to get around, and then each of the factions. So you've got the Syrian colonies, the Green Bank, the New Union, the High Tribunal of Law, the Frontier, and Estron. Each of those are like they're not really networks per se. They're more like colonies of star systems that are, basically forming a country. And so, like, say the Syrian colonies, like all those planets aren't actually planets. They're like groups of star systems. So there's like millions and millions of planets in the Syrian colonies, say.
Basically, Andrew, the Bright Network is like a toll road. It costs, it's fast, there's checks. And then like the grey lines are highways, like coming off that toll road. So they're fast, there's less checks, and there's less traffic and stuff. And then there is the dark smugglers network. You can maybe just make out there is this dark network that we don't have
So
access
we don't
to.
know
Or
if
know
like, so like the Bright Network though, it doesn't have like a
that's
color on
corporation.
it. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
all
we
run
The
by one.
motorways, the highway, the grey lines
Could
are
we-
not run by a corporation.
So we could technically piss off a corporation and not be able to use the Bright Line.
Yeah, but
That's
it would
what
take
we
a
were
lot.
saying,
Like,
but you would have to really piss them off.
Yeah, so like if you get in a fight in one of their stations, like they have their own military, and those guys might like beat you up and throw you in jail, but they would rather not ban you if they can help it, because they will just bleed you dry over the course of your life.
Is it like a private military, or they have all
Yeah,
their
this
own
is
politics
one
going
giant
on?
super evil
Okay.
like
It's like-
Google-esque
Corporation
company
with
that's
their
like
own-
the tagline
It's
is
like,
like
if Google had,
Yes.
mercenaries.
It's the Rutani Corporation from Aliens.
Oh, gotcha. Got it.
it's a
All of the
completely
little
original
triangles
corporation.
are they're like space station waygates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're like massive space cities of
But, like,
their
the
own.
only-
Yeah.
Only way of like pissing them off is damaging their actual gates, which would require like explosions of some
Yeah.
kind.
So they don't
Or-
mind if we like get in a bar fight. Or
Yeah, so
something.
if you get in a
that's what
bar
I
fight,
asked.
if you get in a bar fight, their guards who are like, basically stormtroopers will like run in, probably like maybe even not, but might run in, beat the shit out of you, drag you off to jail for a couple days, and then let you go.
Yeah,
Like,
because it
that's-
sounds like each of their like the little waypoints or whatever are basically like huge outlet malls, and
Yeah.
people are like running businesses, like paying the corporation rent to run their business
Yeah.
on like this outlet mall that people have to stop at and have to spend time at to travel this network.
And they're
because-
just this giant, like, super evil corporation. Their tagline is probably something like, "Our solutions are your solutions." And all the doors, like, it's super sinister, and like everything's super like white and perfectly clean. But then like probably
Rob-
inside the stations, they're all fucked. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Better Off Ted?
No.
Sorry, it's because it's like very much like
Oh, fucking I got it now.
like aperture science type slogans and
Yeah.
stuff, but like very like
Yeah.
corporate. It's like very corporate.
Yeah,
That's
there's a Red Dwarf episode that kind of inspired me about it, where it's called M-Core, and like he like the main character gets a subscription to it, and then he stops being able to see things that aren't made by M-Core, and so like it gets worse and worse and worse, and by the end it's just him on a green screen in space, like arms out, doing the like
I'm blind.
No, doing the like what's it called, the fucking Pulp Fiction meme where he's like got the arm over his hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Where's everything?
Yeah. So it's kind of, they're just super evil, like
But yeah,
inhaling money.
every episode of Better Off Ted had like fake commercials from like this corporation, and it was very much like one of those like, hey, don't sue us because
Yeah.
we're not evil, we swear type
Yeah.
stuff.
It's like making
sue
your
us,
things our things. It's like, hey,
A brighter
wait, what?
future for us.
Yeah.
For tomorrow.
Yeah. Making tomorrow yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like it's super sinister and horrible. But
I
yeah.
later won't like.
So I'm excited for seeing what you guys kind of want to do, and the like factions that you play with and all that sort of thing.
Well, I think that means it's time to talk characters, right?
Yes, and it is, but I think I would like to know where you guys would like to start. But if that means
I
talking,
think that is
if that
what
means
we
talking
need to
characters,
discuss
yeah,
characters first.
yeah,
I
I was
think.
about to say if that means talking characters first, then we can do that.
Yeah.
Or if you guys are like Windmill Slam, New Union, let's fucking go, we can do that too.
Yeah, because as I learned in a session 0 not too long ago, like, you know, if everybody doesn't have like similar goals, it can cause some issues. If like you got 3/4 of the party all with rogue backgrounds, and then you got one noble that wants to like, or you know, so we want to make sure that we don't have one person that's all like hail the tribunal.
Just really quickly for
okay.
Andrew. Andrew, you
Mhm.
there?
Yeah, yeah,
You looking at the map?
yeah. I'm on
Cool.
the map.
Going from the top. Green Bank is basically a bunch of like rainforest systems that grow super well, and there's lots of interesting scientific stuff, but no one
Okay.
really lives there or does anything like
But there's lots
manufacturing or
of
productive.
scientific projects that are done there.
Yes, absolutely. New Union is actually the oldest part of this space where people moved into that first. And it's all like industrial. So that basically makes shit and
York?
then they sell it
Like
in
old New
bars.
York.
It's more like
Like old
it's more
New
like China, made in China.
Okay.
Everything's made in the EU.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of still like old New York. Old New York is now China.
So scrolling down, this big middle circle, the highway with those space stations on, with
Now,
Estron
when
in the
you're
middle,
talking about the big circle, you mean that like the
ellipsis.
biggest,
Yeah.
and it says checkpoint at the bottom, and then
Yes.
Altair at
That-
the top. Okay.
That says Estron in the middle. That is Estron space. That is basically normal, everyday people. Loads of star systems are within that. And then there's like Spirius is like the big city and things. So that's just like everybody in general is in the middle. That's like the big space
Yeah, they're
empire.
average as fuck, pretty much.
Yes.
Oh, you
Average
just
as
said
fuck.
empire. So is there like a legit empire?
It's
Like-
no, it's a council that's elected every 50 years, but you can only really vote, like only
If
really
you're
the rich people
noble.
get a vote.
It's not like Star Wars Empire. It's just a space, a very large amount of space occupied by lots of very average people.
It's imagine America if it was in space. That's kind of what I was saying.
Okay.
Like,
I'm just kind of trying to snuff out like the political aspect of what you got going.
Sure. Partway down, Geminus, completely unknown.
Yeah.
It's there. We have
Geminus,
no fucking
I don't-
clue about it.
Oh, blue. Got
The
it.
blue guy, yeah. No one really knows about it much. We
Including
don't know
me.
about it much. Somebody must know about it, but we don't really know what's going on. The Syrian colonies over to the
Now,
left.
do we know if people have gone to the blue and they just don't talk about it, or no one's? Is it like undiscovered space?
Honestly, Andrew, it's more I haven't figured out what it is yet.
Gotcha. All right, next.
I will tell you before the session.
Syrian colonies is the suburbs. That's where all the rich people live and enjoy their paradise planets and whatnot. Like that's the good living.
Okay.
That's the
Pink guys,
luxury
yeah.
stuff. Sorry, see?
The pink guys, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's Syria 9 and Syrian, and so like I had them mixed up the first time Rob was
No.
talking
When
about
you
them.
said pink, I immediately know what you're saying. So that's
Yeah,
perfect.
sure.
That's why
so
the color coded, baby.
at the bottom there
very,
is
very
this high.
technologically advanced in the Syrian colonies, BT dubs.
Yeah. They're super space, super high sci-fi.
Okay.
The High Tribunal of Law, which occupies some of the Estron space and some not Estron space, they're like super religious fanatic society. And there's tension between Estron and them in their kind of shared space, battles and skirmishes and stuff. But they are like religious converts through and through.
How guarded is like, or have you not decided? But like, how guarded is space? Like in your
that's a very good
so
question.
like what I'm basically asking is like if some like say some like not even us but like say some merchants get attacked by some pirates, do you think we would hear about that attack, or space is just so big
So-
that we probably would never even hear about it?
Okay, so that's a great question. So basically the latter. Estron has millions of stars in it. It's huge. So there's like trillions and trillions and trillions of people. You would never hear about it. Like, you know, it's like you don't hear about someone's house getting robbed unless it's something like, you know.
Like I wouldn't hear about someone's house getting robbed in Australia where I live here.
It's literally like that. So, but as to your question, like how well guarded it is, that depends. So the frontier, Dan was basically about to explain. I think we're imagining that basically everything else is the frontier, and it's anything goes,
like Firefly.
scum and
Lawless
villainy.
space.
Yeah, that's where you go to, like, you know, there's some like civilizations out there that are, you know, not necessarily super evil, but that's where like space weed, space hookers, space fights, and, you know.
Well, I also had another what I think could be important question, because it kind of depends on how I make my character too, I guess.
Sure,
But
sure.
like, say we come across like a space pirate, right? And they're trying to steal some stuff from us,
Yeah.
and we beat them into submission by doing whatever means. Would we like morally be like, okay, we're just gonna throw this guy out into a fucking airlock right now, or is there like a prison we would take them to,
So-
and is there like proper channels for like criminals?
It depends. In the frontier, if you
Airlock.
yeah, in the frontier it's airlock, but everywhere else pretty much have their own prisons.
Okay.
But like, if someone attacks you,
Fucking airlock.
and you defend against them. Oh god, it begins already.
Look at the picture of your captain,
Uh-huh.
and I want you to think about that picture as you answer this question.
Ma'am, can I throw them out the airlock, please?
Why haven't you done it already?
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, but punch him in the face first.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's yeah, and like if you're in like the middle of Estron and someone tries to steal your shit, then there's gonna be basically space police that you can call. But if you're in the frontier, it's fight to the death, baby.
So, in the not frontier place, like the place where there is police, would we possibly get in trouble if we get attacked and then defend ourselves in the airlock? And
No,
not
not if you get attacked, like there's
Because our ship, I think our ship systems and computers or whatever would be able to substantiate the fact that,
Yeah.
you know, they attacked us first.
if
I'm sure
if
it's
you
kinda
get
like
attacked first, you're fine.
Okay.
Unless you like keep one of them captive and torture them or something, then they probably have something to say about that. But
Ma'am, can I jump in a space suit, drag them over here so that they can attack us first and then throw them out the airlock?
yeah, it's like you
Already
get
that
someone
way
with a
up the
drink
airlock.
to stand in front of your captain, and then Demi just walks up and like nudges their elbows so they spill the drink on the captain. It's like, oh, you fucked up, boy. I like it.
Can I bring grenades?
Yes,
Do you want to be
bring
captain?
grenades.
Yes.
Yes.
Always
Please.
bring grenades. I swear to God, if you don't bring the grenades, you're fired.
Why did we make Jade the captain?
I've been wondering that for weeks
Whose
now.
idea is this?
Well, because Dan wanted to be pilot and I wanted to be the soldier.
Yeah. All right.
About fucking time I played the face.
Yeah, and your
I mean, you
first...
were playing the fucking bard. Like,
I
It's
can't
not a-
face. I am the bard, but I can't play the face because the fucking pseudo paladin is too busy trying to be the face.
Let's.
Wait,
This
aren't
is
you
recorded.
technically the captain in Madden? Aren't you the captain in Madden?
Yeah, Anders
Yeah.
definitely are the face of madness.
Yeah.
Face in madness.
another rogue being face.
All right. So
I mean,
We've-
Yova has the face,
Mm.
but he's not the face. I
Ilya
think
has
it-
a
Ander-
face.
Ander leads.
Dawnfire sometimes faces, but she always faces with Anders. So it and then
Mhm.
like Abaddon Shmina sometimes faces, but she always faces without Declan. She just makes sure all of the other things that need doing get done.
Mhm.
You just make sure that Mag and Bryn don't get in way over their heads.
So
Yeah,
I
'cause,
th-
I
kill
feel
each
like
other.
yoga faces a lot.
Declan has his goals. Abrishmina has everybody else's goals.
No, and to Andrew, like Yova has the face, and like, but I think Andrew really is the face. Like he's the
Yeah.
one driving us forward, like in the serious scenarios. Yova is happy
Oh,
to
yeah.
like take the glory, and punch that worm or whatever and save the people, which Andrew doesn't really want. Or maybe he does on the inside, but won't admit to wanting. But
you motherfuckers better not make me say so again.
so
So,
So,
I think that kind of covers pretty much everything with the map.
Mhm.
If you guys have any more questions at all, I'll be happy to make up an answer to them on the spot.
Can there,
Like
be,
a writing desk.
So,
can there be Klingons and can I be a Klingon?
no and no.
Can there be something like a Klingon and can I be something like a Klingon?
100%.
All right.
I feel like dwarves are probably the most like Klingons.
Yeah.
I
from
do
the-
have.
I just want to yell at everybody. That's all.
Just, a few inches away from the microphone is all I ask.
Yeah. Like, I'm definitely gonna test it out for you all before I start.
All
So,
right, give us a go now.
Well, I'm gonna have to do a couple. See, I don't know what to say because I'm not
Say,
RPing right now.
For
Who
blood
stole
and
my
Who took
goddamn
my
soap?
sandwich?
You talk about sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay, we're fine with that. That's fine.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay,
That's
so
a fun-
we're gonna do
Now I wanna
characters
know how
in a
You are the
moment.
doctor, remember, Andrew? You are playing the doc, right?
What's that?
You're playing the medic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Cool.
Okay.
Stop squirming!
Who took my medical sandwich?
You only need one heart.
Apply pressure.
That's bad. I said you had fever.
I've been shot. Have a sandwich. Look, you can eat this half, and the bread can plug up the other half.
Oh God, the clam.
5 a day keeps the bullets away.
No clamp.
Okay, so before we jump into character things, I just have a couple things. Firstly, once everyone's finished with their characters, if I could have the character sheets, that'll help me out a lot. Just so that I know where everyone's at and what abilities they have, so I know basically how to flavor everything and that sort of thing. So that would be super helpful to me. If you just PM me them or Google Drive link me or whatever's easiest.
I have my character done other than equipment because after all of this, I want to discuss equipment. So
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Agreed. I have
Same.
equivalent, but
Okay.
I don't have actual factories.
Oh, can I ask Liam, what's your class?
Engineer, artificer.
You're playing artificer. Nice. Okay.
Nice.
The
Makes sense.
shooty one with a turret.
Oh, nice.
Skits. All right. The second thing is, as I mentioned earlier, we're starting with basically downtime. You guys getting paid and going off into a space station. So, if between now and then you don't need to send me them, but just come up with some ideas of things your character would buy, or what they would spend their money on in a city-sized shopping mall, with
You were
like,
gonna-
whorehouses and everything.
You were going to give us ideas for shops
Yeah,
that are there.
but
right?
like if
Okay.
I will give you some ideas, but these are huge. So if there's something that you want to spend your money on, if you're like, oh, I want to go to the mustache salesman, then we can drop me a message and we can talk about it.
I want to go to the cosmetic scar
Removal.
parlor. No.
So-
These were intentional.
You add more scars.
Yeah, the cosmetic scar parlor.
And then the last two, everyone needs an NPC
Oh no.
that they know. I just need like a couple lines, basically. It's my brother and he lives back home and he's in jail for this, or there's a guy, he helped me out of a jam once, or the woman I used to love, or just an NPC that I can fiddle with. And everyone needs a secret. It could be a minor secret, but I want a goddamn secret. Like Orson's secret could be my nose ring is just a clip-on, or I
That's
grew
going to
up
be a
in
major revelation.
So
was
whatever
He's
your
really
secret
blind.
is,
That's why he's got the sunglasses.
yeah,
He's just a really good pilot,
Yeah.
but you didn't realize he was blind the entire time.
because
He's got
I've
really
seen
good
that movie on
AI.
Sci-Fi.
he's a tiny hamster inside a handsome man. But
Three
no, I think
gnomes in a
a
trench
secret.
coat.
The reason I want a secret is basically you guys are all locked in a ship together, and so things like that are going to be much more interesting in the way that they play out because you'll be spending a lot of time like waiting and doing that sort of thing. So I think secrets could be really fun. So I would like a secret from everyone, an NPC, downtime ideas,
We
and
just open up Xanathar's Guide to Everything so I can do some roll tables.
yeah. So if everyone's cool with
Fucking
that,
shout.
we can launch into character concepts.
NPC
Woo.
NPC secret.
down.
Yeah.
I'm assuming I can't use my name as a secret since I've already kind of revealed that.
Yeah,
Or could I?
a juicy
Okay.
secret.
Cool.
Is her name Stamina? Stamina?
Her name is. Oh, fuck! I need to read the whole thing. Her name is High Princess Harper Soledad Winona Leggett Staminia of House Lorona and House Tyle, also known as H.
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 Yeah. I've just put down H. I would love to put down the rest of it.
You
That's
just put down
absolutely.
H.
I don't have the space.
Once I get to my character concept, I'll explain why her name's so fucking long.
No, it's cool. I was just.
Although I totally think H should be in apostrophes, but
I just
British
need
fonts.
I just need somebody to remind me what the whenever Taliesin did his Vampire Masquerade one shot, he kept mispronouncing stamina. Could someone please remind me?
Stamina.
Was that how what he kept saying?
That's how he said it. Yes, stamina.
Stamina. Okay.
Liam, I respect that your character's called H, but I will never call her H. I will always be calling her H, and you can either live with that or change your name because I refuse to say it.
You will only be calling her H.
H, not H.
Your
H.
actual pronunciation doesn't matter, as long as it's just the letter H.
Well, the actual pronunciation does matter, and you're doing it wrong. So let's just nip that in the bud.
Pronounce it like that again. Pronounce it again.
H.
So you pronounce H without the H.
No, I pronounce
It's
H as it's pronounced,
Alright,
which
hold
is H.
Let me.
What
This
is
is the
going
moment.
on right now? My brain.
3 days
There are
later.
certain scummy varieties of British people who pronounce the letter H as the letter H. And
What?
they are-
It's got H in it.
No, it doesn't. It's got an H in it.
What's going on?
This
Okay.
has like cultural debate between two of the same culture.
I'm only saying it to piss off Rob.
I don't
care how
believe
fucking
you.
say it.
I'm too high for this right now.
Space H.
The reference I'm making is H doesn't have a h sound at the beginning, whereas H does. So you're therefore pronouncing H without the H.
Well,
Sure, but the
W doesn't
pronunciation-
have a double sound at the front of it,
You wanna
or a
something?
U sound in it. So let's just calm down with your stupid analogies.
Doesn't matter.
right. So just to put in that you want the princess bit to be kind of public knowledge to us, the crew, at least,
Yeah, I can go with that.
Like a Leia type.
rather
shit?
than your secret.
Yeah, just because I've already revealed it, so I'll come up
Okay.
with another secret.
Just so I can call you princess or something, like about
Rob,
the
I'm gonna
ship.
give you my secret now because I'll forget it.
Yeah, drop me a message. Don't say it out loud because then it's not a secret anymore.
Darth Vader's Luke's father.
What?
Oh my god, I was about responded with who Ray's parents were, not thinking that not everybody may have seen it yet. I almost did it.
Ooh.
Almost. It was over.
Has not everyone seen it in the hangout?
Not
No.
everybody
I
has
haven't,
seen
I
it
haven't
yet.
seen it. I'm not sure when I'm gonna see it, if at all. We'll find out.
Yeah, it was
I think I
instinct.
already know.
It was instinct to kick back with that.
Dude, that would. Oh, I would have been so
I would have
salty
been
with you.
I would have been so mad at myself. I
Have
would
you
have
not seen it? Oh.
no,
Me?
but she's a good fan and doesn't want to.
Oh, okay, right.
I don't like spoilers for.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
It was. Anyways, we should get on with the things.
So
One more time, Rob.
Is that a good
NPC
secret?
downtime.
Andrew, yes. Pardon, Liam.
NPC secret downtime.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I'll need to come up with for homework, Mr. Barkley?
No.
Character sheet.
Yeah, I need
Character
your character
sheet.
sheet.
Thank you for that. I would have forgotten that. Let me write that down. It's very bare bones.
That's fine. I just
So
so I can see.
Until the Beyond's back.
I know, right?
And there is an equipment sheet for you to spend the 500 monies that you start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Are we
that's
Yeah,
bad.
I kind of.
or do we get equipment before we spend our money, or do we have to spend our money on this equipment now? Because you don't have any equipment with like the class information.
Yeah. So your equipment that you like have is basically going to be your like 5e book class armor if you want, but reskinned however you want. And then you can have you can have, we'll say, 70 units to spend on weaponry.
For free.
That's not part of the 500. And
Okay,
then
cool.
you have the 500 if you want to buy extras. If you want to go and spend that on whatever you want, that's up to you. But you have 70.
Okay. Thank you.
We can buy laser pistols.
Yeah.
Pew 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 pew.
Are you just wanting like could we just reflavor classic things? Like could I reflavor a crossbow as just a plasma rifle?
There's the equipment list.
Yeah, there's actually.
Oh, is there? Oh, sorry.
So he
Yeah.
just said 73 units to spend on, starting weapons, and then you have 500 extra on top of that.
Sweet tasty
But
jam.
70 will get you a decent weapon or two.
I also have spells which I have reflavored as technical weaponry upon
Okay.
person.
You've not got, just noting, you've not got like an armor selection
Yeah.
there,
So
at, like what it costs to buy plate mail or leather or whatever in this space.
One gold,
yes,
one unit, right?
I will add that. I'll write it to my list of my homework.
It's just a thought.
But like you can start with your.
Yeah, I'll
starting
probably
point.
want to upgrade my armor from.
Sure, I will do that
base.
by session 1.
But also, if there's like force fields in this game, or like any kind of weird armors that give you injections or anything.
Yeah, I will
Battle
build up an
pins.
armor table. I'll probably expand the weaponry and the ship upgrades and everything as well.
Okay.
Does the ship get a cut? Does the ship have a cut of what just happened, or is that a?
That's up to you guys. So
I'm just gonna say up front, being a monk, I'll possibly spend the 70 units on weapons, but I was probably gonna put the 500 into something for my baby, being the pilot. So.
I've got no problem kicking 100 of, because there's 5 of us, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got no
Yeah.
problem kicking 100 to the ship.
So you can either I'll say this, either you can say that the job that you made $3,000 over the course of the last 3 or so months, and so the ship itself got a cut of that. But if that's the case, then the ship should get a cut every time you do a job. Or you can you say you made 2,500, you'll get your cut, and you can spend money on the ship yourselves if you want.
Story-wise, I think it's better if the ship just gets a cut, because I'm planning on playing a selfish character, so it doesn't make much sense that I would be all like, yeah, sure, Cap, you
Sweet.
can have this.
Okay, so the ship also has 500 units to spend. And
Okay.
you can spend that how you want. Captain has veto, obviously. Yes.
Okay.
So we all have 500 units, and the ship has 500 units now as well. Okay,
Yes.
for free. Cool. So
Yep.
I was probably gonna give my 500 units in beyond, like sometime in bars, like
Mm-hmm.
to the ship.
I mean, you can spend extra if you like. I'll come up with some more interesting and cheaper like reinforcements and ship upgrades. But yeah, for now you can do as you will.
So if I am I guess we kind of just jumped into the equipment. I'm sorry, because I was asking questions. Do we want to settle that first before we go into like all of like the character background stuff, or while we're talking about it?
Yeah, just ask me a question.
Okay.
if I want to be a dueling gunslinger, what guns are good for that?
Well, they all have the D&D properties.
So it would have to be one, as long as I have like the light.
Yeah, so there's
okay.
three there
Yeah.
with light.
Okay.
The table's all fucked
The
up
machine
because it used
pistol
to...
doesn't, interestingly.
It should. The,
And
like
so yeah, it
the
doesn't
table's
have-
all fucked up because basically I made this for an old campaign that I ran, and then I sort of just like, I was like, oh shit, I need to send them a gear list because you guys were asking questions, and so I was like, oh, here, have this one. And I just deleted a load of shit out of it that like doesn't apply to this. So yeah, that
Machine
one
pistol
works.
is kind of like partially filled out, so
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
So
But it is a light, and what's the range on it? Is it the same as the others?
No, it'll be shorter range.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be range 120.
What is and the uses?
Yeah, so the uses is how much time you have to, how many shots you have before you need to reload.
Is bonus action reload?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Bonus action reload.
Okay. So there's not really a
So you've
huge.
got laser pistol, hand cannon, machine pistol, depending on how you want to do it. I guess.
Yeah. It kind of seems like the machine pistol would be better because I'm guaranteed at least a 2 on the damage, but it's got shorter range. But I can ignore with my fighting style. I can ignore that. So I think I'm going to go with 2 machine pistols,
That
and
does seem the best option.
and then a bolt rifle.
Yeah. So I am going to go through and revamp all this. It should stay mostly the same, but if stuff changes before, I will let you guys know. But
I have to say, I do think the hand cannon needs buffing a little bit. So.
yeah.
Yeah, because like right now, there's no reason to choose the hand cannon if I can have a machine pistol, other than like the range. And I would. I would like some variety there.
Yeah, of course. Like literally, I threw this up. There will be
Yeah.
added. Don't you worry about that.
Because I'm so fighter, so I'm gonna have like all of the weapons. What's a bolt sweeper?
Basically a shotgun, but your enemies make a save.
I'm gonna have one of them too.
How quickly? How quickly can I switch between weapons in this?
How quickly can you do it in 5e?
I don't know. I've never been like a.
I think it's
a free action, isn't it?
I think it's a free action. Yeah.
For one, like one.
Yeah.
So I could do.
So I could go hand cannon 6 rounds, and then do switch to one of the other things as a free action.
Action surge, bolt sweeper.
So yeah, by the book, draw a stow can be done for free. You can do one of these a turn as part of a move or an action. However, if you want to do both, it will take your action to do so. So if like you're drawing 2 weapons, it's your action. But if you're drawing 1, you can do it as part of your action or your movement action. And that is draw or stow, which is so you put away something, but you can't necessarily draw it out again. Something else. So maybe that could do with.
Yeah.
Or there could be a piece of equipment like a quick drawer or something that you could buy.
I would like that, please.
Like,
I will write it down. Oh man, I
weapon.
wish I had a secretary.
Hostile?
Yeah, like just let me be Billy Connolly from Boondock Saints with his 6-gun holsters. There was the firefight. It was 6 men, but it was just him. Just. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So the gear is still TBD a little bit, but you can pick for now, and when shit changes, I'll drop you guys a link to it so you can fix it.
I would just point out, being monk, I may be aiming for slightly more melee weapons, or at least things like the striker.
Yeah, boy.
but also possibly slightly more variety in Striker or more different Striker things,
Yeah.
like some upgraded version of the Striker that I could aim for.
Like these are, I also imagine these are kind of the vanilla ones, and you'll find like,
Sure.
you know how you start with your items, but then you find a magic sword. So there might be like
Sure,
an acid
absolutely.
striker or something that you
So-
come across.
Because I love the idea of punching someone and it being both bludgeoning and then there's like a laser explosion as the thing that like
Yeah, maybe.
ignites. And that's the base level Striker, but I like.
Oh, because that's
More stuff.
2d4. I get it now. I get it now.
Yeah, 1d4 laser, 1d4 bludgeoning as far as I read it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Although it only has 5 ammo or charges.
Is
Yeah.
that
Is there paying for ammo or is it just reloading purposes and that takes
So
whatever.
presumably there is reloading for ammo, or paying for ammo even. That is just for reloading purposes.
Right.
But I would say like
the striker? Is it like 5 uses, and then you have nothing but the bludgeoning until you use a
yeah,
thing to like reset it or
Presume,
something?
yeah. But the strike, like the ammo, there's gonna be.
Can I-
I'm gonna actually add that as a thing to see how much you can carry. I think.
Okay.
And
Can I ask the bludgeoning scales with the like it's a monk weapon, so the bludgeoning scales with my monk dice, but the laser does not? Does that make sense? Because I'm still
that seems
pulverizing
that
someone?
seems fair to me. Like I imagine the laser is sort of like
The additional.
yeah, like a little bonus. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
So I could get more high impactful laser or striker charges on a better weapon at some point.
Yeah,
Or like different
yeah.
types of damage or something. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So like yeah, as I say, this A will be revamped and B is like just the base stuff, and we can come up with cool stuff. And if you have ideas for cool items you want, of course, send them to me. Right. Let's do characters because I'm hoping to go to bed in like an hour. It won't happen, but there you go. So Dan, do you want to go first?
Sure. So looks like picture, but maybe slightly more sci-fi version of picture. Orson Kenosha Kane is, I'm figuring, from a frontier planet, like from a large like border planet family. I imagine them kind of like ranchers.
I love it.
Kind of like that, the Firefly Western blending into low sci-fi kind of tech. And Kenosha, his mum names her children their middle names after the moons of the planet that they're on, and Kenosha is her favorite moon. And basically, he's that kind of. I don't know if they're moisture farmers, but he's kind of he's that Luke-esque character that got on speeders at an early age and was just a natural born kind of racer, and probably a bit of a tearaway as a kid, and spent a lot of time racing across like the dust bowls of the planet or something, and making a little bit of a name for himself and some money for himself. Kind of that. He's an incredibly chill person, but also kind of like an adrenaline junkie at the same time. So he'll do like ridiculous stunts and very dangerous things without really a second thought, but like be completely chill about it. And the little bit of discussion that we had in a hangout at some point with Jade is that he got picked out of this relatively backwards planet or something. Jade's character happened to be there for, and I mean she'll talk about it in her character, but basically she kind of like picked him out of obscurity, as obscure, like from an obscure planet, but he was a fucking phenomenal pilot, effectively, and he just placed her into a ship. And I don't know if we've all been around for months, just a couple of months or something, or if they've been around a bit longer, but
Yeah.
basically he's just never looked back, and they.
Yeah. I imagine the like you guys have been together for at least 3 months.
Okay.
But like, yeah, you could have been the first one of the crew, sort of thing.
That maybe what I was hoping.
Yeah, I
Or
think that
certainly
makes
for
the most
longer than 3 months. But for some reason, like Jade's character ended up going to the frontier, and her previous pilot didn't work out in some form, and found this relative kid. Like he's not young. He's not like rookie young or anything, but ends up putting him on the ship, and best pilot she's ever seen, etc. And just they get on really well, and they've been cruising for a while, I guess, doing jobs, avoiding trouble, that kind of thing. And like, because he's from the border planet, the frontier planet, he doesn't really have affiliations with all these other different sectors that she might have a lot of baggage coming from. So I think there's a breath of fresh air there that she knows that he's like in her corner, regardless of what they come up against.
Love it.
And yeah, so the character is a monk, shadow monk, and largely going to eschew a lot of the laser rifles for good or for worse, and is going to be very chill, and then hopefully dash a ridiculous amount of distance, and then beat people up in close combat very nonchalantly. So
awesome. I love it. Jade, do you want to go next, seeing as your character's linked in?
Also plays the sci-fi guitar or the space guitar.
The space guitar.
But
you play the space guitar in my old space tavern, the digital monkey.
So my character is Kira Emanuel. She's basically the daughter of a well-known merchant in the area, kind of like a shipper. He had some military affiliations, and then just kind of left the military and kind of founded Emmanuel Shipping and Transport.
Sure. Where's she from? Where's she from?
See, I was trying to think if was it the Syrian colonies with their being super technologically advanced, or perhaps maybe the New Union because they're kind of more of a merchant.
Yeah, so the New Union's very industrial, but also like I imagine most of the customers of the New Union are in Estron, so that's where like the most shipping happens, and so if you want to do like a shipping company, it might make sense.
They would
at least carry out most of their business there. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't necessarily mean like if your dad was super rich, he'd probably live in the Syrian colonies.
I mean, he might. Well, I mean, he might have like a place there. I mean, he's like super rich, but like she doesn't necessarily like worry about that too much. Basically, he gave her command of this ship, and one of her first jobs was to run a shipment out to a frontier colony. While she was there, the pilot of the ship thought that he could do a better job, convinced the rest of the crew, and they essentially attempted to mutiny and take the ship and
throw him out the airlock.
Yeah, threw him out the airlock, and whether or not any of the other other players were involved in kind of shutting that down, we can kind of work out those connections if we needed to or wanted to.
Well, that sounds like it was kind of pre-meeting Orson.
It was pre-meeting Orson, and so I mean.
So the others probably wouldn't be involved, I imagine.
I'm just saying it could be. It could be a potential thing there. And then, so basically, yeah, she's essentially stranded on this this planet, and sees Orson and is like, "Hey, I got the opportunity. I need a pilot." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, he would take that ticket off this planet. You probably got bored on that planet and ended up going to a race or something.
Yeah.
Just
saw this little whiz kid. What class is she?
Rogue.
Awesome.
Yep.
Let's go with Dimitra?
Demi, if you please. Yeah, so I don't have like a whole lot of like her background figured out, but like the concept is basically she's Jane from Firefly with tits and a bad attitude, a badder attitude, I guess. She's the bruiser, I think, on the roll.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Or
It might be
soldier or
Soldier,
fighter.
soldier. Yeah, she's a soldier with a soldier background. And so like I haven't like quite figured out where she like fits into like the crew per se. We can have her be like a long-term member of Kiara, how are you pronouncing it?
Kira.
Kira. Along
Whoa, what?
I will accidentally call her Carrier all the time.
Is it? Did you say Kira?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jay's character.
Okay, that's gonna be weird. All right, cool.
why?
Oh, that's my lady friend
Ooh.
in real life.
Ooh. Yeah. So like I don't know if you want her to be like a long-term person of Kira's crew, or if we want her to be a more recent addition with this, doing like bodyguard work for this princess or whatever that I hear so much about. But
Possible.
I'm kind of open for either in that regard.
Okay.
She's definitely seen a lot of action because she's pretty much the rootinest, tootinest.
Cowboy in the West.
So
Yeah.
her like role is soldier.
Mhm.
Is she actually like military, or is she ex-military, or?
Honestly think like out of like whenever you were talking about all of like the stuff, the only like place that really like jumps out at me as where she might be from would either be the High Tribunal of Lore or the Frontier in some way. And if she's from the High Tribunal of Lore, because whenever I was like rolling up some random stuff just for like inspiration from like your PDF, I got that she was from a theological patriarchal planet.
Okay.
So that kind of sounds like
So maybe she was
High
part of
Tribunal of Lore.
the religious army of High Tribunal of Law, got disenfranchised and left.
Yeah, definitely. Because
Okay.
she's
Oh
like
boy, a believer.
Oh.
an
Not necessarily
ex-believer,
anymore, but,
an
yeah.
ex-believer.
Sure.
I think it's more likely that it was because here's how I'm picking up from what Rob was throwing down of that place. There's not really a whole lot of choice whenever it comes to fighting there.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think it was one of those things that, like, she's probably more likely a deserter of the High Tribunal of Lore at some point.
Ooh.
At some,
My guy's planet is also religious, heavily
Uh-huh.
religious, and I mean he rebelled around that heavily, so that's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to dig into.
yeah.
Nice.
So, like, I think that. Oh, that might have been a really good secret that she was a deserter.
Yeah.
I should have held on to that. Damn it. Okay.
We could pretend that we don't know.
Fuck. Yeah, can we y'all pretend that you don't know? That might be
What? You mean not metagame? What?
Pretend what? What are we
Thank
pretending?
you. Thank
Well,
you.
maybe her secret could be she never truly deserted, and she still believes, and she's just on
I
a
will get
long
with you,
sleeping
Rob.
mission.
I will get with you, Rob.
You
But
what?
yeah, like about the secret.
Oh, right. That
Sure.
that means something else where we're from.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't get
it just means that I will get with you later to
No,
talk to you.
no,
about
you
it.
will
No,
not get with
no.
me.
Make it any better.
The
Okay.
phrase
I don't-
"to get with someone" is, I mean, we'll
Yeah.
have to wait till we're in London if you really want to. That's
Okay. This is where, like, if we were in London right now, there would be sea blushing as I embarrass myself. But yeah, that
there
is
will be formal future contact.
yes, I will touch
If you guys
base
want a
with
separate
you.
Airbnb, that's fine.
Yeah.
I will touch base with you later about that.
Oh.
But
Oh
I
God, touch base. That means something. No, it doesn't
Stop
really-
it.
doesn't really.
now you're being a jerk.
No,
Dan
you're
did
being
it
a dick.
first.
Oh, are you take,
What?
What?
Sorry?
pulling my leg?
No, okay.
No,
Get with
the
someone
with
is
thing
actually
real. The touch
actually
base
Yeah, the
is
get with.
Okay,
touch
okay,
base
okay, okay.
is exactly the same.
Okay. It's a like office term. You need to talk to somebody, so you'll get with them later. It's just, yeah, it's
No,
like
no.
No.
Touch
Okay.
base is acceptable.
Yeah.
Get with
Okay.
is not acceptable. Not an office scenario.
Yeah, if I
Good.
told
I
my
mean,
boss I
depends
was
on
going
your
to get
office.
with them, I'd be kicked out.
Okay. But anyways, like so because Orson is going to be from the frontier, I thought it would be more interesting if I was from the High
I
Tribunal.
am so in. I love that.
If you want, go for it.
So-
I think that makes for some interesting stuff
Yeah.
when we're down there
Yeah.
because it looks like we're going to be down there, and that's going to make
Yeah.
Let's
you
go
sweat.
down.
Mhm.
I think
So,
we're all from different.
yeah. So what we'll do is we'll run through Liam and Andrew's characters, and then once we've done that, okay, I guess
Figure
we'll just
out the
run through Andrew's
connections.
character. And once we've done that, then yeah, we can figure out the connections and how everyone got hired onto the ship, and then from there,
For everyone's reference, I am a fighter, close quarters shooter
dope.
from the UA, the fighting style, and then she's got like another. She's a brute, and then has the sharpshooter feat. So she's gonna be all the rootinest tootinest.
I have a question, and that sounds awesome, Corinne. I have a question.
Sure.
Since I'm gonna be the doctor, does my class need to reflect my profession?
So no, but you are in charge of healing. Exactly how that works is basically you can make medicine checks to heal actual wounds. As to healing damage,
like out of combat wounds?
yeah, like
type
so if
deal?
it's the kind of thing where like Demi gets shot and they drag her into the med bay, you can heal that with a medicine check.
So like I could have like a quote unquote like warrior doctor type thing. Like
Yeah,
I
like
basically
you
just
could-
like heal
you
out
could-
of combat, but
you could
in
play a
combat.
fighter, but who can still operate that way. Yeah.
But yeah, like your
Um,
background, whenever you're creating your character, your background, you would use like the sage stuff according to the PDF.
Yeah.
You'd be using the sage background as the medic.
Yeah.
But you have proficiency in medicine.
You get proficiency in medicine and either history, perception, or insight.
So having like a half decent wisdom would be good.
Yeah.
But you can be anybody you want to be.
And
Andrew.
also,
Yeah.
like on that note, if you see the variant rules section, there is permanent damage. So, because it's guns and not swords, and it's not fantasy, and there's no magic healing, if you drop to 0 during a fight, your max HP is halved until you receive proper medical attention, which is
cool.
you get back to the ship, and Andrew rolls a successful medicine check. And then
Nice.
if you receive massive damage, more than 50 HP in one hit, your maximum hit
50%.
points... more than 50% maximum HP. Your max hit points are reduced by a quarter until you receive
that-
proper medical attention.
Massive damage, it's 50% of your maximum
Yeah.
hit points or 50% of your current.
Max.
Okay.
It's
thanks.
50% of max, I
Yeah.
believe.
So
Okay,
so for you, it would be 22 points of damage in one hit. Max damage. Your total maximum hit points are reduced by a quarter.
Okay.
So Andrew, please have a positive wisdom,
Yeah.
please.
You know, okay. I don't know. I kind of want.
Because like looking at like the classes that are available, because like there's fighter, barbarian, rogue, ranger, artificer, and monk. I know you don't like playing spellcasters, but the best class for healing would be the ranger because you can reskin your spells as clamps or tools that can heal
That's
in
what H is
combat.
H
Yeah.
has
You
got,
wouldn't have that many of them
Yeah.
as a ranger to worry about.
Yeah. It's like as a ranger, you would have like at 5th level, you would know like maybe a handful of spells.
I didn't realize how many spells the artificer got. I got loads.
Yeah. But or there's like Yeah.
I will say also, Andrew can use his like traveling downtime and a certain amount of gold to basically make a medicine check and make like a stim pack, which is a healing potion. So you can make healing potions, but they'll cost you basically they'll cost in the DMG like as you go.
50
Yeah,
50 gold or
and you
whatever it is.
can't at the moment you can't make more than the basic ones. Like when you get higher levels, you can make better ones. But yeah, like so you can make potions and distribute them to everyone. But this is gonna be dangerous because you haven't got in combat healing really, unless Andrew goes ranger.
Yeah.
Which is totally
I
fine.
do
He
have
just
Spare
has
the
to be.
Dying, so if you're getting down,
Yeah.
I got things.
And
You're
it's-
all good.
Are there any healing spells in the artificer? Which artificer are you using?
I could
the Artificer
take
does
Cure
have some
Wounds.
healing. Yeah.
If we really need it, I can take Cure Wounds instead of something because I don't know what most of this stuff does because I picked it because it sounded cool.
Please.
Please.
I'll take it. I'll
I'm gonna
take it instead of
voice of the
absorb element.
captain healing.
Cure.
Basically, it's going to be like a portable defibrillator, and you're just going to shove it
That's
in
exactly what I
someone.
thought.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Spare the Dying. Is just. There you go.
Yeah, that's another thing. Another magic item I would be interested in is a periaptive health that is reskinned as a chess piece that has a defib unit
Yeah.
in it already.
I'll
Periaptive wound closure. I think that's what is that what I said? That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
I
Said
can go
health.
ranger, but not be like all ranged and stuff like that, right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
there are
you can go
combat
double.
rangers. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You can be a swordy ranger.
Yeah.
Or like a bashy ranger.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yeah.
Remember, this world is filled with laser guns, though. So, like,
Okay.
I'm a shoot you.
Passion.
All right.
there are a lot of people going to shoot you, and you could.
I'm thinking, yeah, I'll do ranger, cause I'm gonna be, having it on D&D Beyond, so that should be easy. I just need some help making it on D&D Beyond.
I would love to help you, and I know Jade would too. So
Awesome.
Yes, I have said I will assist.
Yep. Cause I need help with this one, and then
my game.
Sniffles Jiggleverse.
Oh God.
Andrew.
Yes.
I know it's a relatively long shot, but you wouldn't happen to have a name for me, would you? It sounds like you do. I can hear it.
He's looking
That's
around
not
his room.
Sniffles Jigglesworth.
Hey, Sniffles Jigglesworth is gonna be a badass. You don't even know.
I hope so.
He is not. He is not gonna sound like his name. I'll just say that. Anywho.
Okay.
You're playing like an alien, right? An alien class. So you're gonna make yourself.
I'd like to be like, a very basically like a space orc,
Okay.
Yeah.
Your name has to have more than one syllable.
Hold
Has
on.
to have more than one syllable.
Yeah.
Like,
Do I get away with that because I have technically
Your name
got lots
has
of
a
syllables,
million
but I only use
syllables.
one.
I mean, you say that like he's always had at least two
Yeah,
syllables.
that's like if I said more than two, that would be unfair.
You must have between 1 and 2 syllables.
No, just go for it, man. I can send you a name generator if you like.
no.
No.
Why?
We
It's
don't do that.
Bagnor.
Fantasy name generator.
Space Nog.
Space Nog. That sounds like something you drink at Space Christmas.
Space Breakfast.
Yeah.
It does.
It's Crufus. Doofus.
There you go. See, I got a whole, 100 pages of space names. I just gotta look through this real quick.
Space names.
Space names.
Names you find in space.
Torgan.
I love masks.
Msks.
Good talk, team.
Good talk. Okay, well, he's figuring out a name.
Yeah.
Maybe Liam.
Yeah.
Liam.
Describe the princess.
Oh, here we go. I need to get this up. I need to read it.
Are you going to do this in character again?
No.
Okay.
I haven't decided what she sounds like yet. High Princess Harper Soledad Winona Leggett Staminia of House Lorona and House Tilley, otherwise known as H. Or H, if you're a pedantic prick.
No, I'm not
Probably-
a pedantic prick. It's just H.
Yeah. You'll have to
It's
get
okay.
used to that coming over to the UK.
It's okay.
A lot of people say it. It's very annoying.
It's okay.
I mean, I understand Zed because that just makes sense in some
It
weird
rhymes.
way, but
'Cause it rhymes.
no, it doesn't. Rhymes? What
Oh
the fuck
no!
would it rhyme
I'm
with?
thinking of Z. Sorry, I'm thinking of Z. Z rhymes at the end.
With what?
With what?
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T
What?
U V W X Y and Z. It rhymes at the end.
So it rhymes with V.
Yeah.
Fine. Liam, just tell us about your fucking princess.
It sounded so gross whenever he said H in the middle of that. By the way, it
Yeah.
threw off. It
Honestly.
threw off.
It
the song.
did,
It threw
man.
off
Oh
the
my
song.
god,
It
can
sounded
we
so gross.
Shut
can
up.
we just learn
Shut
about
up,
this?
My
all of you
mind
shut
like
up.
breaks every time he says it.
All
I'm
of
not
you shut
used
up.
to it. It's so
You want me to
weird.
call her
All of you
Harper then? If it's going to be that much of an issue.
Like,
I'm sorry.
honestly,
I'm sorry, Liam. I'm sorry,
No,
Liam.
it's fine.
I'm
I can
sorry,
change it to
I'm
Harper
sorry.
if it's upsetting.
it's fine. It can be an affectation of her alien race. Just tell us who the fuck she is, so that I can stop this.
I imagine she's from somewhere in the Syrian colonies. Because you said that was like the rich ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you got pink in your background.
I do. That was unintentional. That's just because the art I found had pink in it.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of smokers though.
Of course we have a lot of smokers. We're like a rebel band, aren't we not? In any case, she's from the planet Pazuzu in the Syrian colonies,
God.
which
damn
has
it.
like... I'm so clever.
How do I spell that for my notes?
Oh, let me type it up for you, buddy. There you go. Pazuzu, as you read it, as you say it, even.
Per fucking Zuzu.
You can read it. So that's all. She
Sorry.
lived in. I came up with this whole like how each like there's a bunch of continents. On each continent there's a queen or a high queen if she's not married, because it's the female one goes on. They have like a bunch of. You don't need to all hear this. Basically,
Matriarchy.
she's heir to the throne that is currently held by House Lorona and House Tilley. But she's like very, very smart, and most people are like, you can't be smart, you have to be charming, and it's all that bollocks that you always hear in like
Mm-hmm.
shitty princess films. It's exactly like that. It's like she's a Disney princess basically, and she's like, I just want to build stuff. Look at all this cool shit I've built. I built this like nanofiber armor that I can like turn on and off with a buckle. Like that's badass. And like, no, you're a fucking princess. The fuck you doing? You've got to be like political and shit. And she's like, no, fuck you. I'm not gonna be political. I'm fucking off. And then she fucks off.
Right.
And the reason she has a super long name is because on Pazuzu, if you have a really long name, you're really noble. So, of course, High Princess Harper Soledad Winona Leggett Staminia of House Lorona. It's so hard to say.
Yeah, so stop
And
doing that.
she shortened her name to H,
Thank
so
you.
that basically to sort of rid herself of that past.
I like
And
it.
just be like, I'm not any better than any of you. I'm just the same. I'm just H.
I'm actually worse when I pronounce my name H. I love that concept, Liam. It's very cool.
Thank you.
So,
It's just
now
Disney
that we...
princess with lasers.
I love her little rockabilly hair bun too. I'm kind of in love with that art. It's great.
Yeah, it is. Does she have wings, yeah?
I would
Or is
say
that-
yes, but they're probably not functional.
Okay.
Because
She
they
has
seem to be like
emotional
lowered.
wings.
They seem to be like lower down, so it's probably just like plumage for probably an ancestral thing, like plumage for attracting a mate or whatever.
Yeah, I like it.
It's probably just stuck around.
Yeah. Well, technically, I would say it's probably that far down because for a creature of that size, it would need a massive fucking wingspan to make them fly. So that's why it's just that joint down.
Yeah.
Is that's how down. That's
Yeah.
how done. That's how down it would go if it was tucked. If it was down.
Guts.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thanks for that.
So yeah, she probably has like a wingspan of like 3.5 of her. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why
Maybe
it's
like can't
down.
fly because their wings are too small. Maybe that's the idea.
Okay. Okay.
Andrew, that name is so fucking metal.
Gutsbraka!
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it basically means guts breaker. That hasn't. I haven't failed to notice that, but I like it a lot. It's dope.
I'm gonna hope I don't get hit in the guts.
Tell us everything you can think of about Gutsbraka. Gutsbraka.
Can I call him Guts?
I mean, it's happening already.
Oh God.
Oh God, the yelling.
Of the New Hampshire Gutsbrakas.
He was no, I haven't gotten too much into his story. Basically, he was in a war for a long time. His race has been in a war. I'm guessing. I don't know your world yet, but this is just me thinking out his backstory. But probably was in a war for a very long time. Was a medic during the war. Didn't really want to be the medic, but was one of the more smarter of his race, which is not saying much at all.
So where do you think this race is from? The frontier?
Oh, probably. Yeah. Just the outskirts. Maybe not a lot of people have known about him. Probably been in like a 100-year war for a really long time.
If the space orcs, they live in the frontier, 100%. I think that makes sense.
Cool. So, not sure why he'd be on this ship now. Maybe they sent him off. He had to leave for some reason. Not exactly sure what that reason is yet. But a medical space orc got kind of just pushed into that position, and so he tried to take it as serious as possible. It really follows the rules a lot. Any type of laws or anything like that. He's a very structured, very structured type person.
Orson
I love it.
That was me laughing as Orson. You really follow the rules. Okay.
Okay.
Could the space war have ended or gone into
Sure.
like a Cold War period?
Yeah.
And you're kind of like looking for work on a space station and we pick you up?
It. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because every ship needs a medic. And so it's just kind of like one of those things if you find an unemployed medic of any sort, because like the background for the medic is you can get into practically anywhere if you say you've got a medic on board. So finding one that's unemployed in a space station is just pretty much you're coming with me.
Yeah.
We'll say Gruchbraka has actually been kind of sad because the war's ended, so he hasn't been in battle for too long, kind of just been drinking at some bars and stuff like that, looking for work.
So he's got promised to kind of, like, here, we can show you a bit of action. So he'd be interested in that, maybe.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I like the idea that maybe the war went into a Cold War period and like it's still fuming, but like it isn't actively fighting.
They don't actually need me right now, but they might be plans.
Yeah, because then it can happen later.
Is it like one of those things where like he's constantly saying any day now they'll call me back?
Yeah.
So
any day the war will come again.
From the side, like I imagine Gutsbraker was probably the last to be picked up. Like maybe he's only been there a few months, and so like the whole crew was there, and they were like, you know what, we need a medic. And then Goosebruck is like, did somebody say medic? And
and every other medic was like taken from some place. So
so literally as a one of your like abilities that you get from your role is that if your ship says we've got a medic on board, it gives you, it's kind of like a green card, like you can get into a lot of places that you couldn't originally, and you get kind of a little bit better treatment.
Reception?
Yeah, because medics are in such high demand because people die a lot. So I think
you might find yourself like getting some work on some space stations, or if we go to like a poor planet, like people might come on the ship to get treatment or something.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah,
cool.
It's
I like it.
So basically, the only ones I need to know how you join the crew are Dimmy and H. So either you guys could be together, like H could have hired Dimmy, and then you guys joined up together, or you could have just joined separately, however you want.
I have a feeling H may have jumped around from ship to ship to ship.
Mm-hmm.
Because I suppose it's possible that they could have landed on Pazuzu and picked it up from there, but I also like the idea of she's been traveling before.
Yeah.
Just fixing up ships as she goes.
I definitely thought that you've escaped and you've been around a few times, a few cycles.
Yeah, you
around the block.
Pick you up.
Yeah.
Space block.
So maybe you just kind of got like both this ship and your ship, your old ship, like landed at the same port, and Kira was looking for an engineer because the ship was in trouble, and you were like, I can take a look, and then
she had a mutiny and she had to like clean out most of her crew.
Yeah.
Imagine
so
she's looking
she's
for a lot
rebuilding
of
crew.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of like it's like if I am not tagged on as like someone's bodyguard, which like the only people that kind of makes sense would be Harper, I think, because it doesn't seem like from like Guts's lawfulness, he might not have gotten along with Demi just a tiny bit. Because she's definitely one of those.
So I'll say also,
if the ward comes back, I don't fucking want to fight in it, type thing. But she's still like that's the only thing she knows. So
2 rebel queens cruising through the galaxy. Except we're not much queens.
Yeah. So like I don't think that me and Guts make sense, but maybe me and Harper, or we could just say Kira picked her up somewhere. After like seeing her handle herself in a bar fight or seeing her shoot something.
I would also want to add one thing. I don't like to break the law at all, but I'm also extremely naive. So
thank God.
We can convince him that it's not an actual law that's being broken.
yeah, probably really easily.
There's a gray area.
So hey, Gutsbracker, on Zemulon 4, if someone looks at you first, you can fight them without getting in trouble. It's like, oh really?
Oh really?
That's not a canon planet somewhere.
Zemulon 4.
Zemulon 4.
Write
it down.
Oh boy.
That's where I'm from. No, I'm kidding.
Hey Dan.
Yes.
I know you don't normally take notes in the mini campaigns.
Sure.
But if
you would like some notes,
it would be really helpful. By no means do you need to, but I imagine there's going to be a lot of names and places slung around.
We could have a bigger campaign,
right? I mean, I did take a bunch of notes, like more strategic notes for Don Hollow about like room layout and what we were doing, but not like narrative beat by beat stuff. Are you looking for a chronicle? Like
I am not necessarily looking for a chronicle. Just a way to help keep track of like the names and places mentioned. So even if you're just like, you kind of do like, you know how Marisha notes down like when you talk to an NPC or something. That might be helpful. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Like
no.
I'll keep some as well, but
it's just super helpful for me. Also, if this ends up being like 10 sessions or longer, if it just keeps going, then and I guess that's another thing, like if we want this to be a longer thing, I will not do the leveling up every session. But
okay.
So
I mean, we're already starting at 5.
Yeah.
So you might want to keep off it for a bit.
Yeah, if people are looking like this session 0 is getting me very excited, so I would love it to be a longer thing. If people want it to be a longer thing, then the leveling up will be a bit slower.
Just tell us whenever you think we deserve it.
Okay, so basically like SAG.
Yeah, I think so. Start that way.
Although SAG is very slow, so it probably won't be as slow, but
doesn't have to be.
Somewhere between SAG and Keep.
Yeah.
I'll say Keep actually wasn't that quick.
Keep was quick, but it wasn't ridiculous.
Quick for a 5e game, I feel, for a campaign.
But for like a minute, for like a campaign, I mean, that was like what 30 sessions, and we never even made it to level 20.
Yeah.
So I mean, that pace isn't too bad.
No, but like SAG though, we're past Keep and we're like still only like level 10. And nowhere near end game.
No. What I'm saying though is that saying between keep and sag. I think it would be better on the spectrum closer to keep than sag, not like dead in the middle.
I see.
Sure.
I understand what you're saying.
I just to go back to the character background thing, I quite like the idea of the bodyguard being attached to the princess for protection because there's possibly people coming after her for responsibilities and things. I personally really like that, but if you don't want that, then we can pick you up from any random space station.
No, I actually wouldn't mind that, Liam, if you don't mind Demi or the idea of Demi.
Let's do it.
Because then there's also like a little bit of factionality within the ship, which is interesting. Histories and things.
And how does she get on our ship? We just basically like top ship.
I mean, you kicked all your crew out, including like the mechanic, and a pilot can get you somewhere, but a mechanic will keep you getting places.
Yeah, so maybe I'm there because I was with Harper, and so that could be something that you like lord over me.
Where I go, Demi goes.
Yeah. I haven't pissed Harper off enough.
Like a remnant of her royalness. Like she's cast off a lot of it, but kind of like, I kind of like having a bodyguard around.
Yeah.
Sure. It might be like a little element of contention.
Just don't expect me to be your handmaiden because that will not go well for Harper.
I could totally imagine just like Harper walks into a space hacienda and goes, "Whoever wins the bar fight gets to be my bodyguard and I'll pay you." And then everyone just looks at each other for like 5 seconds and then just like Benny Hill music, people fighting.
Ballroom blitz.
But yeah, you two can come up with that as and when. But now I know how everyone's joined the ship. That's kind of what I was going for.
Can I ask an equipment question really quickly that I saw?
Yeah, of course.
With the shields, it says, for instance, Arc Shield level 2 gives you 100 HP on every sector of the ship, something, and then before dissipating, does the shield have a recharge value, or is it one use only? Because it is hella expensive.
Provides the ship cover. Yeah. So that is like a
temp HP.
Yeah, so that is temp HP, and then it does come back. But it comes back once
after combat.
Yeah, once they've been recharged, basically. Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm assuming one of the upgrades I could do would be like quickening the recharge time.
Definitely.
Something like that.
And also like Dan, in your like pilot rules, you can like direct power to things. I think it says that in there, if not. But so like if the shields go down, you can like you can direct power from like the engines to the shields and recharge the shields instantly, but you can't move, sort of thing.
Oh shit.
Okay.
I just double charged myself for those guns. I thought they were 50. They were 25
each. Another equipment question. If I take one striker, because it's scaling on my monk thing, can I apply it to, like, because it has 5 charges, I could do, 4 attacks in a turn.
Yeah.
If I just tell you when I'm laser charging it and when I'm not laser charging it, I could use all 4 of those in a turn and almost expend it in one go, but then need to reload pretty quickly.
But that, like, it's only on one fist. Oh, yeah, actually, it would be a set, wouldn't it? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm happy.
I would think it would be a set of fists for 35.
For more than a gun, yeah.
It is more than a gun, and it's a melee weapon. So, just wanted to make sure.
You raise a good point, sir.
I mean, I could pay for feet strikers, knuckle, feet dusters, whatever.
I don't like that. I don't.
I've probably described kicking things, but maybe mechanically they're still.
The only extra cost to having the strikers, though, is at one point you're gonna have to taste someone in the balls with your fist.
Okay.
So just
now I want some.
Keep that in mind.
Huh?
I'm just saying, just keep that in mind. It has to happen at some point.
Can I just get a taser?
We'll talk about it.
Thank you.
I mean, that might be the monk stun thing, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Taser charge. I was also thinking when you're making weaponry gear, armor, ship weapons, etc., you might want to think about what is legal and what is not legal. So if this possibly could be the legal list, and you could do an advanced version of all these weapons that's restricted.
Deal. That's the standard
Okay.
list. It will be upgraded and updated and increased, but that's the basic standard list.
Okay.
Sure.
I think for now I have got my equipment figured out for the most part. There are like the quick draw and like the periapt of wound closure reskinning or whatever thing that I'd be interested in figuring out with you. We don't have to do that now.
Okay. We will do that. Yeah, like I need to go through the equipment, probably do that like tomorrow night.
If you're having like magic item list, you're gonna have to do like a big old reskin or something. Figure out what is what cost.
Yeah.
For uncommon and commons or whatever.
I have some plans on how I'm gonna do it. Now for the
or anti-grav boots. That's another one I would like.
Now for the fun part.
Uh-huh.
What ship are you guys gonna get?
Oh shit!
So
yeah.
I would like to say
the decision, fucking scoundrel thing.
The decision ultimately rests with Kira. Because
the decision is ultimately scoundrel, Kira.
But yeah.
I was gonna say that's the ship that I've been looking at. Just because it's probably gonna be that.
Don't choose cruiser. Any other, I'll be happy with.
I like that it's called the S4 Harpy.
Well,
I like that.
That's decision made then, I guess.
Yeah.
What's its name?
We need a really good name generator. C.
The Silky.
No. You're not a name generator.
Ah, okay.
I like the Selkie.
Yeah, it's a horse that drowns people. I like it for a ship thing.
It's also Scottish.
Exactly. Hold on. I'm finding a generator because there's actually a ship generator. Where is it? There's one on this thing.
It's Sojourn.
So this doesn't.
Sojourn.
This doesn't have to be it, but this is the art I had picked out for the scoundrel ship.
Ooh.
We can find.
It looks a lot like a rhino. Is that just me?
Look, I mean, it's kind of got a horn, but it's about the right size for what I was picturing, and it looks cool as fuck. So.
Spaceship name generator.
Mm-hmm. The first page on the name generator, one of them is rhinoceros.
Oh, come on, it's probably the rhino now.
The SC rhinoceros.
The Spectator.
Such a passive name.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
Spectre. The spectacle.
I don't like this generator. It's
bear.
dumb. Vengeance, Zenith, Majestic, Serenity, Cyclops, Royal, Torment, Bayonet, Explorer. These are dumb names. I don't like this generator. The Huntress, Spartacus.
Rob, can I ask, why is the campaign called Vagrant?
Because
we are vagrants.
You will play vagrants, the crew of a ship with no specific allegiance, no military, religious, social, or economic standing. To begin with, you will be nobodies in an uncaring universe, but all that may change depending on what you do.
Thank you. Because I was going to suggest Vagrant as a name for the ship, but if we are vagrants, that doesn't really make sense.
So basically just your...
Vagabonds.
Yeah. What about the Havana, or the Flying Welshman, or the Southern Star?
The Beatrice.
The Bodega Bay. What the fuck is this?
Beatrice. Oh, let's give it a normal ass name.
I know, right?
You name ships after women though.
Yeah.
The Gareth.
Ooh,
Grass snake. No.
Dungeness.
Don John Don John has a Serenity spaceship name generator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guardian Dream.
The Light of Bellerophon.
I'm using something called from springhole.net, but it does like a
yeah.
place and then a name, like the Ares Dancer, and the area is like a place, or Rouse Laser. I quite like the idea of of the Auriga.
The fantasy name generator, fantasynamegenerators.com is kind of disappointing me right now.
Thrush.
Yeah. The Socian Fortune, the Saturnian Terror.
The Fortune? That wasn't bad.
Oh, I quite like the
Destiny
Fortune.
of Claire Majua. Claire Majua?
Madua. Madua is a place, isn't it, in Italy? I think it's in a Shakespeare play. No, I'm thinking of Padua. Sorry.
Yeah. Just
cool adjectives.
Lyra?
Cool adjectives.
The Osiris Gypsy.
I like that.
The Gypsy.
The Osiris Gypsy. Yeah, I like that. Oh, actual, legit.
That is a really fucking cool name.
Gypsy Danger.
Yep. Tipsy Stranger.
What was the name of our mechs? And I was Midnight Echo, and you were Echo something.
I can find that out for you, but
Hashtag triggered.
No,
Okay.
you guys missed the opportunity to be Tipsy Stranger.
Gypsy Danger is the.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I
the
know,
whole
but...
point of what she's saying, Dan. So, my final thing I want to do is, as with all of my session zeros, I ask you guys what you want to see. What do you want to do? Where do you... also, we need to figure out actually where we want to start the game.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be right back.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can't answer that because Dan's just gone. So, C. What do you want to do /C/go to? Where do you want to go? What do you want to smell? What things do you want to taste?
What do you want to smell? Sorry. Took me by surprise a bit.
Haven't really had like a space campaign before.
So that can be like a monster you want to fight, or character you want to fight, something you want to explore, a type of job.
Vampires.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. You could be like, I want to do a heist. I want to do.
Oh yeah. Ooh, some heists.
Train job.
I mean, there's gonna be heists.
Yeah,
Train job. Yes.
Space train.
Yep. Just give me Dragon Punk, but in space, and I'll be happy.
Space dragon.
Space dragons.
Dragon space.
Yeah, give me some. I just want to be some ragtag group that's holding on by the seat of their pants, and all that other stuff. I want us making some kind of enemy that's going to keep us on our toes. Some Space Jammer weird elfy business or something. I don't know. I don't know much about Space Jammer other than like the elves have tree
Yeah, I mean,
ships.
you don't even know what it's called. That's crazy.
Spelljammer.
Spelljammer. Oh my god, yeah. all I know about Space Jammer or Spelljammer is that they've got. Sorry,
I believe I can fly.
the only thing I know about Spelljammer is that the elves have tree ships, and I think tree ships are kind of cool. So that'd be kind of interesting to see.
Sure.
Like,
Don't we already have a tree ship?
no,
Sorry, I just got Space
you
Jammer.
missed it, Dan. Shush.
Okay, so yeah, we're going through the class. What does everyone want to see? So far, we've got train job, making an enemy to keep you on your toes, heists, and tree ships. Apparently,
I mean, I think that's cool.
I like
or maybe not like a tree ship, but maybe a a ship of people who are aquatic, and I want to see how you would handle an aquatic spacefaring race. I want to see that.
A tree ship kind of makes sense because we've got a whole like solar system that's overrun by rainforests and technical advances.
But I mean, the whole thing is that place is real good at growing shit there, so shit leaving there doesn't. I mean, yeah. Well, I'll figure something out.
You have all of like these alien races. We're playing a bunch of humans minus Harper and Guts, but I want to see some. I want to see some races that you don't normally see in sci-fi. Like I want bird people like Harper. I want to see what they would be like in space, and I want to see aquatic races and what they would be like in space. That's why I said space vampires, because there's no sun in space, so that actually would have been kind of cool.
There's lots of suns in space.
Anyways,
that kind of stuff. No, I like it. Okay. Andrew.
Oh, I'm just along for the ride, man.
Give me one thing.
I don't know.
Anything.
Space casino.
Space casino.
I like that.
A heist in a space casino. An aquatic space casino.
You know, we could like space these things out over like multiple.
An aquatic
sessions.
space
we don't have to
casino.
have them all in one.
Guys, I've got it.
We
An
can
aquatic
space
space
it out,
casino.
huh?
It's really hard to roll dice underwater. They kind of go all over the place.
An aquatic space casino on a train. Sorted.
Train.
Do it all in one session, and then I get to do what I want. Liam. You've had so much time to think about this. Come on.
You know how long it takes me to make decisions, Robert?
Yeah.
Too fucking long. You've been in combat with me, right?
Yeah. It's like pulling fucking teeth.
Oh, fucking... The first thing that came to my head was, like, Krypton for some reason. Not, like, Krypton, but, like, there's a planet that's on the verge of destruction, and there's a possibility that we can help, but it's, like, a big old thing, and you have to make the decision, is it worth doing all this shit to save this planet, or is it not?
That's a great
moral
fucking
dilemmas.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Moral dilemmas.
Thank you.
Dude,
just in general.
There's always going to be moral dilemmas when I'm the DM.
But there's
what to have for breakfast?
There's a specific one for you potentially.
The first moral dilemma is: should I eat this tiny little creature alive? But if I do, it tastes so good. But if I do, I'll hate myself. But if I do, it tastes so good.
That was another part of H that I forgot to mention, is that she has really sharp teeth.
Nice.
Her technical species name is Angelus dentium, which means angel teeth in Latin.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight with the thought of angel teeth, but there we go. Jade. Tell me things that you would like to see.
I would like to see some really good consequences for our actions. You know, along with those moral dilemmas.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely there's consequences as far as that stuff is concerned. And
the world is living. Sorry.
There's a lot of open space out there. It'd be kind of cool to kind of see, you know, some unknown things. Maybe stumble across some
deep
unknown
things.
Weirdness. Yeah, deep space shit. Maybe, you know, some more horror kind of things. You know, kind of like an alien kind of situation where there's come across a abandoned ship kind of thing and have to figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah.
There's water all over the place.
Yeah.
And finally, Dan. Anything that hasn't been mentioned? Do you want me to run through everything before you answer, or are you good?
Relatively good, presumably. So, first of all, in terms of like the universe, I'd like you to have a think about what every place wants and what every place like can give, like, you know, like import export for reasons to go from places to other places for us to have jobs.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of world builders disease going on recently with this.
Okay.
There's a lot of detail figured out.
I want reasons for us to pick people up and take them to different places for money. I want reasons for us to hunt people down and like imprison them on the ship in the brig and take them to places. That like political faction dealings. There's the science angle we like talked about. There's equally like a religious aspect. reasons to go places and do shit, like job boards, effectively on these space stations. I'm curious to see where your level of technology is because we don't really know what's up with cloning. Is there back to tech stuff? Like, are there droids around? How sentient are they? Like,
I can answer some of those questions now. There are droids around. They're not very sentient.
Right.
They
So
are
my
smart,
immediate
but...
thought is have a storyline where there's the rogue AI type thing going on somewhere, or some sort of emergent sentience.
Yeah. So the droids are at a level of sentience where you can be like, load all that shit up onto the ship.
Sure.
And they will know what to load, but they won't be able to ask why.
Okay. I'm curious what's going on with the rainforest planet thing, and why that stuff is going on, but also how dangerous that shit is if it's in the air, or whatever, or some sort of bacterial infection, like plague thing, if there's that could come from there and break out of a lab somewhere. There's a whole bunch of things to do with the religion. They could be after certain targets or some artifacts on barren planets in different places, or something that might shatter their religion and it wasn't actually a fraud or something that founded it. Like there's a hell of a lot you could do just with that. There's whatever the fuck Geminus is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's high on the list of shit I need to do.
Can we get Crash Stranded there?
That might be a good place to start, because that's still a question we need to answer, isn't it?
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, could we maybe start there? Or start...
No, it's fine. I didn't prep out a whole starting scene. Don't worry.
We're starting. Maybe we can go there early, but we're already starting on a space station and buying things.
That's right. I'm sorry, shut up.
Geminus can be our first arc.
It can be it can be an arc, early on that we get sent there for some reason. I think I had more stuff.
Yeah, that's a big list. As for your politics and imports and exports and reasons to go places, I've got a lot of that figured out. And I'm hoping that when you guys kind of start playing, you'll realize A, this world is fucking huge, and B, there's always a shitload going on. And so you guys you might, the only thing I'm wary of is decision paralysis, because there's going to be so many different avenues. Yeah, crazy sandbox. Crazy.
Cool.
Like I was talking about, with the emergent tech and stuff, I kind of want to see this place breathe or go in a direction. So there is, like you said, there's things happening. I want to at least find out a fraction of that at a time and follow that around. Like I said about breaking out of the hyperspace lanes and things like that. Just stuff either with a rogue AI or with the new tech or with some sort of religious movement or change, or maybe they're converting people forcefully through some process.
You want to see the world basically living and moving on.
Yeah, kind of thing, for us to have an effect on it, like building new hyperlanes. Or
this is a super ambitious game. I don't think I've run a game this ambitious. It's basically like how you guys have the teleportation helmet and keep. It's like that, except you're gonna have it from the start, and I'm opening it up to be let's go wherever. You don't really have a base. So yeah, it's gonna be big. I'm hella excited. I've got a great list of stuff to do now. I need your secrets, I need your NPCs, I need your character sheets, I need your excitement and your enthusiasm.
Basically.
And I think that's pretty much everything.
I can't believe you guys let me name the ship the OG.
Oh my god.